today.
Very good. We thank you all for putting this on, and again, this is our third or fourth debate, and it's fun to get out to the public as the campaign is winding down a bit. My background through school in the Fargo Public Schools, a lifelong resident of Fargo with a 95-year-old business in Fargo, with my background in 2 terms on the Fargo Park Commission, 2 terms on the Fargo City Commission, my work with the North Dakota League of Cities and being its past president, and also transitioning work to the point where I have the time to do this. The timing is right, and that's why I'm running for mayor of Fargo. I've got the energy to do that. I've got some vision that we want to put in place, that we want to get started and continue. Fargo is got a ton of synergy, and it's just amazing as we've been through the campaign trail and seen what's going on in Fargo. It's a new city, and it's going to need that energy. And as I said, the timing is right for a good succession plan at this point. We've got some visions. We've got a Fargo Fit plan that we're going to put in place, and we are ready to do that as we start the new term.
Mayor Wallaker.
Good morning. It still is morning, right, guys? I have a lot of community service. I was co-chair of the endowment service for the Hospice of the Red River Valley on the board of directors for 4 years. Special Olympics director of facilities from 1998 to 2003 and volunteer from 2004 2005. United Way, Cass Clay, Public Service Division campaign chair for 8 years. Board of Directors for 4 years, and I'm a current Key Club member. United Churches for the Homeless, I was a celebrity server for 5 years, from 2000 to 2005. North Dakota State University Teammaker President, 99 to 2000, Board of Directors from 1994 to 2014. Plains Art Museum, Board of Directors from 2005 to 2010. And the Red River Zoo from Board of Directors from 2005 to 2010. My vision of all of this is to continue what's been happening in the last 8 years. I find it extremely exciting. Our community probably is much better off today than it was 8 years ago, at least our relationships with our sister cities. So, thank you.
Okay, we'll start now with the questions. The first question addressed to Commissioner Wimmer, obviously something that we all have become very familiar with, and that is the FM diversion. The plan has made progress from the beginning. Obviously, there's a belief, a hope, a thought that the federal share of more than $800 million will come through. There are lots of ifs on the table right now and a lot of moving parts, we know that. But could Fargo property owners be faced with significant assessments should the money not be approved from Uncle Sam? There's some talk that we've heard, it's bounced around, not even just recently, but going back some way, that it could cost $1,000 a year for homeowners in Fargo. They would have special assessments. What's your thought on that?
You know, special assessments are certainly a part of the mix to affected people on the diversion. So if there's properties that are would be definitely affected, that could happen. The inner city funding, the sales tax portion, so our city funding is in place. The state funding is in place with authorization now from the Senate and the House. Although funding has not started federally, the authorization is there. The president is signing, hopefully as we speak or this week, then that will be done. So I think the work that we've done on the Diversion Authority, the work that we've done for the last 3, 4, 5 years is coming to fruition. And I think with that, the funding mechanisms, as we talk about in finance, I sit on the finance for the Diversion Authority, and we are looking at several mechanisms to shore up funding. There's an alternative funding plan that could help jumpstart some of the federal funding. So that's being looked at right now as we speak. So I think that's all coming to fruition. We're going to look at all types of funding. It would be affected. It wouldn't go through every homeowner. Again, the sales tax, which have been approved so greatly by the city of Fargo and the Cass County. Remember, this is a county-wide with the 2 counties. Those are all coming together very nicely.
Mayor?
We have come so far in the last 4 years. I thought the chief's report was magnificent from the Corps of Engineers. To talk about assessments, I think it's a little early now to talk about assessments. There may be some kind of assessment for the operations of the facility, so forth. We have had numerous trips to Washington, D.C., meeting both with our congressional people on both sides of the river. And in fact, I had 17 meetings in 2 days a couple of years ago. I've been in the Pentagon twice, the Executive Office Building, met with each and every congressman and U.S. senators and so forth. It's been a long toll. What people have to understand is that we have come so far, and what the process is today. People thought we could separate, not separate, and have financing and authorization at the same time. So thank you.
Mayor Wallaker, I get the sense that this campaign has been somewhat of a strain on you, perhaps emotionally, and that you feel betrayed by some people who you thought at one point were allies and who now maybe shifted their support. Who are those people? Is that true, first of all?
Oh, I don't know if it's true or not. Brad and I had a conversation in December, and we had one in March, and he decided to run for the position, and that's fine. That's.
Were you disappointed by that? By that?
Well, not really. I was not geared up to conduct a campaign of any sort. Am I looking forward to June 10th? Absolutely. When this is all over, this is our fourth head-to-head and so forth. So that's what it's all about. I think next week will be a much better week than this week and so forth. So we have a lot of support out there. There's no question about that. And right now I think I'm leading. I can't wait till the first poll is done and so forth by the Fargo Forum and to find out where we're at prior to the beginning of the election process next week. And no, I'm not disappointed. There is an opportunity for us to get closer to the public and so forth. And after being involved in the public eye for well over 30 years, it's amazing to do this on my last term. Thank you.
So my answer, again, the campaigning has been invigorating. I can't tell you what I've learned in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. I intentionally tried to make this a short campaign, and meeting and greeting and getting to city departments and getting to workplaces and getting to senior centers and getting downtown and getting to new businesses and getting to Million Cups of Coffee. It's a new Fargo. And I think you need to get out into Fargo to understand what's going on today. And it's a different city than it was 4 years ago, 8 years ago, and it's alive. It's alive and well, and I think we've done great work the last 4 or 8 years, but I think it's going to be a different work in a different pace that's going to happen now in the next near future.
Next question, Commissioner Wimmer. Do you feel that Mayor Wallaker has been given, perhaps in some circles, too much credit for the successful flood fights that Fargo has endured over the years?
We know for certain that these floods, as we've sat in meetings over the last 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years in the main floods. 8 years ago, we didn't even talk about flood control as a campaign issue. And then it's escalated. And again, I think it's time we've gotten over the flood control. Our inner city is there. The diversion is almost there. And I think we need to move on. Many of us have done a great deal of flood fighting. And I would not be truthful if we didn't talk about every department head, from public works to engineering to finance to the county to the Corps to the Army Guard to all those people for fighting the floods, any one of which we're missing, we would not defeat that flood. So we are there as commissioners to guide those people, to make sure they're in place, to encourage them, to cheerlead them, to stay out of their way, and to make sure things get done. We have got a fabulous team set up. We've got a fabulous set of policies and procedures set up. They're on the shelf. They're ready to go. Had we had a flood this year, those would have been put in place. Had we a flood next year, those would be put in place. Those people are in place, and the volunteers are ready to go. So it is not just one person.
Mayor Wallaker.
Well, a comment on credit. No one person is involved, can take credit for anything. I've been involved in 13 floods since 1976. I know this town backwards and forwards. Credit needs to go to everybody involved, from the Corps of Engineers, I think it's probably more so, to the general public. I mean, we constructed 3.5 million sandbags in 1997. And that's a phenomenal amount of work. I placed maybe 2 out of 3.5 million, so forth. But being a supervisor and putting the right people at the right time, I wrote the original book for flood operations. It's on my desk.
The Bible.
The Bible. And people have to realize that it is not just a handshake or walking through a dike or saying, "That a boy," and so forth. It is absolutely amazing. So,
Finished.
You're listening to live coverage of a Fargo mayoral debate between Mayor Wallaker and Commissioner Wimmer on KFGO and also KFGO.com. The Castleton train derailment of last December, an explosion we're all very familiar with. There have been a number of meetings. There have been congressional hearings. Quebec, North Dakota crude was a factor in a massive derailment and explosion last summer where dozens of people were killed. A recent topic at City Hall and City Commission has been the redevelopment of the Union Pacific building on NP Avenue to residential. I believe the mayor, I think you have come out against that. Commissioner Wimmer, your thoughts on that proposal?
Well, I strongly supported the Union Storage and Transfer renovation. I think it's a wonderful infill project. I think it's going to bring some needed mixed use. It's going to be a infill between our current downtown and University Drive and 10th Street. I think it's going to expand the downtown to the west. And I think the people involved have taken a huge risk in renovating the building. They believe they can fill it up. They believe that a lot of it is already leased up. And I think its proximity to the railroad is not unlike literally hundreds of other businesses up and down our Main Avenue corridor, of which I'm one. I live there and I work there. We've worked there for 95 years, adjacent to the railroad. And the safety procedures need to be put in place, and we're working on those. The railroad is working very quickly and very judiciously on safety procedures. They've slowed down to 30 miles an hour. They're crawling through our city. Again, we've lived there. We've worked there. It's worked. And I think with the amount of traffic coming through our area and the commerce coming through, we need to continue with that. But projects like that